Hello.
Hi. So completely to be expected, a lot of people wouldn't have got involved in the racecourse rounds, and will be coming to this for the first time. So I'll make sure that when Nick sends out the email to say that the rounds are open, I'll make sure that he just restates how to log on, so the link to where you need to go, and also the details. So if you've got, we were sent a list of people to set up initially by Nick. So what I would say is I will just check that everyone in this call was set up with access, and if not, we'll get you set up before the rounds opens. So we'll make sure that's in hand. But for those of you who haven't logged in, you'll get the link. You'll see. I'll show you what you'll see. So you'll come to the what's called www.rdhub.co.uk. You'll have an account, so you just click sign in, and you'll be able to log in with your email that you use for racing admin, and also the same password as well. So it should be nice and straightforward. And like I said, any problems, do put them through, and we'll get them sorted quickly. So that's a little refresh on the login. Any questions on any of that? So before we kick on to the main meat of it?
I'm good, thanks.
Good. Yep. Dan, we know you're in hand. Don't worry about that. Cool. So for those of you who were involved in the racecourse rounds, this dashboard will look very familiar to you. So for those of you that weren't involved, this is the fixture planning dashboard, which is sort of an overview of where you are in the fixtures process, and also sort of actions and notifications that you have. So for those of you that manage multiple race courses, your default view will be for all of them, but you'll be able to drill into individual race courses by selecting from there. Obviously, this is just test data, so don't be too alarmed if the numbers don't quite look as though they're adding up. So for those of you who've not been involved, you've got, I'll do a quick overview of the platform for those that haven't, but you've got My Fixtures, which is basically just all the fixtures that you in your racecourse have permission over. So those are your racecourse fixtures. You've got All Fixtures, which shows you the entire fixture list, including BHA fixtures. So an amalgamation of both. Apologies, my computer is a little bit slow. So that gives you an overview of the entire fixture list as is, and you've got the ability to view it as a list, view it as a calendar in a calendar style, like that, and export that out to an Excel file. So that should be nice and straightforward, and obviously the ability to search by racecourse date, code, etc. So the important tab for the BHA fixture voting is BHA fixture tab. What this shows you is just the BHA fixtures, and that's all of them, both floodlit and those in the BHA national pool. So if you log in at the moment, because Nick has not opened the round, all of the options for you to select will be greyed out. So if you look here at this floodlit fixture, because the floodlit round isn't open yet, I can't move the selector to submit a preference. For those in the normal BHA pool, I can submit my preference, and we've kept the same system of one can and can't, and I can just move my selector depending on which fixture I would like to submit a preference for. So much the same. You've got the ability to filter by date. This is the all fixtures view. You can also filter by just floodlit or just BHA. So has someone got a question quickly before I go head on? No, all good. I just thought I could hear something there. That's fine. So for those who manage multiple courses, again, you've got the race course selector. And what you'll have to do is submit the preferences for each race course individually. So if I was this user, I'd select Nottingham. I'd submit all the preferences that I want to, submit those. When I'm happy, click submit, because you can only submit once. You can't go back and change them. And that has then gone off. So my preferences for Nottingham have then gone off to Nick Dartnell to be reviewed, and I can't change them anymore. And you'll see that those are all greyed out. If I had a second race course that I needed to look after, I'd use the race course selector, select Warwick, and you can see that those are now available to me again, and I can vote for Warwick. Same again, submit preferences. So that's done on an individual racecourse basis. Any questions on that? Cool, good.
Sorry, not a question, but I don't know if it's just mine, but my contrast on just reading the bits is a bit hazy. Could you increase the size of it a little bit?
Of course. Sorry, that's me.
I feel like I'm a very old man saying that, but
is that better?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
No problem. Sorry, that's my fault.
Dan, you are old, but some of us are even older.
Thanks very much, David.
Very good. So for
I've just got one question, George.
Yes.
Do you have to, when we get to do this, do you have to put a want, can, can't beside every fixture going the whole way through? No, even if all the summer fixtures that we wouldn't. You want to have a want, can, can't to every BHA fixture.
Exactly. So that's a really good point. So the default will be can't, and so you only need to move the selector on those that you are voting on. You don't need to go through everything and click can't.
And does the system does it not allow you to do something if it thinks if it's a regional clash, for example, or is that for you guys to sort out?
So there's none of that geographical validation at the moment. So that will all be handled by Nick on his side, where he's got all the rules and bits and pieces coded for that. So that will
likewise sort of I mean, I think we're not going to try and put a day too close to another day for turf management, but that type of thing is also sorted out at a human level. Okay.
Yes,
George,
exactly.
you might be about to tell us, but what about preferences and any supporting comments that we might want to submit?
So that's a really good point, and it's come up in the last few days about those courses that sort of need to let Nick know under which code they're intending to run that fixture. And I believe Nick is going to be sending out some communication about that and how to do that best later today. So await Nick's instructions on that, basically.
But I also think Jeremy's point is there may be a particular reason why a particular date really does need to work for Salisbury or can't work because of local issues that race planning wouldn't have a clue about. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in the old way, we used to sort of like put up to about 6 preferences, in the order of preference. So it'd be very useful to be able to, for an opportunity to say that, even if it's in a separate, it might just have to go in a supporting email.
Absolutely. So this is obviously the first year we've done the fixtures process in a system, and that sort of nuanced communication is we weren't quite sure how to build for it in year one. Because obviously there's even probably more than we ever anticipated going on, and we felt that this year it's best that just sort of goes through usual channels with Nick, but for year 2 what we're looking to do is include a sort of comments function at this level, so that you could say can race here, add a supporting comment with your justification about why turf management or other fixtures, etc. So we'll make sure that that's covered off for year year 2, but like I said, for this year, just I'd wait to see how Nick wants to receive that communication. I know he's planning to write to everyone later on that. Cool. So I think, sorry, so going back to the voting, what you'll start to get is a total of those number that you selected of want, number that you selected can on. Once you have, you can export your votes and your preferences, so you've got a record of what those are for your own purposes. And then I suppose the last thing just to say is that on the days where you've got 2 BHA fixtures of the same session, fixture ID is the best way to identify which that is, and you can correspond that with the either an export of the fixture list or on all fixtures. Yes, so I think that should be it. Unless there are any more questions. Like I said, it's quite a straightforward process, and any problems obviously can be directed to me. I'll be sending this out as video after, but very happy to receive any email questions when you come to the voting. Jeremy, did you have a question? Were you going to say something, Jeremy?
Yeah, was it just did you say at the beginning you're going to send us a link so we can log in?
Yeah, I'll make sure that
register rather.
I'll just check after this call. I'll go on and check whether you were initially set up. For those that weren't, I'll get those set up this afternoon, so that you will be able to log in.
Right, thank you.
Georgia.
Hi, Bill.
Sorry, it's Bill here. Sorry, I was momentarily distracted and missed a crucial bit of information. Where there's 2 slots available, say on a Monday afternoon,
yeah,
do we just say that we want or can race on just one of the slots or both the slots?
I mean, that is, I suppose, entirely up to you. I wouldn't know how Nick would take that into consideration, so I assume the safest thing to, if there are 2 fixture slots that for all intents and purposes are the same, I would click want on both and then just communicate to Nick what your plans were.
Do you think that's necessary? Because you can only race on one.
Yeah,
I was thinking you would only click on one. And,
yeah, well,
because
yeah.
But you haven't discussed it with Nick.
I suppose you wouldn't want to miss out on the other, would be my, because I suspect how Nick is going to do it is work through it on a day-by-day basis, with sort of the sessions within the day. So I suppose if you've not voted on both of the sessions, he won't know that you've got an interest, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It does. It seems a bit odd, but it's how Nick is using this at the other end, which we don't know.
No, and honestly, I don't, because this is the first year that it's been in a system. I think Nick himself is still trying to find his feet with it and how best to use it.
As long as he doesn't give us 2 fixtures on the same day, which might be a bit tricky.
Bill, don't be so modest. I'm sure you could run 2 on one day.
Oh, well, there's a first for everything, isn't there? Yeah.
Just as a thought, Georgia, would you think it's possible in the future maybe to have a ranking system? So if you are, like Bill's saying there, if you're going for 2 days, you'd be technically putting want on both, rather than having to send Nick a separate note if you ranked it 1 and 2.
Yeah, that was actually a concept that we sort of tested rather than one can't. We actually did test with some users a sort of numerical preference, and I think the decision was to stay with one want can't this year, but there's no reason to say that if Nick felt in future that would be a best system, it couldn't change.
Okay, thanks.
I think we're all going to have to just follow it up with an email confirming what we're really wanting, our preferences, and ask for Nick to acknowledge receipt of that supporting email so that we know that he's got what we're after.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Brilliant. I think unless there are any more questions on the actual use of the system, I think we can leave it there. Like I will speak to Nick and just follow up a few things with him and make sure that all of the correspondence you need will be in that email. And then I will follow up with anyone on this call who hasn't got a login so far and make sure that gets set up.
But just one thing, George, has it gone live for you know, some fixtures? Is it currently live?
So yes, so the site is currently live and it went through the racecourse process on live. Nick has not yet, I believe, opened the BHA round for
that's what I mean. No, that's
Tomorrow.
it's not live. It's not live for the BHA round. Yeah. And what, just if one wants to get onto it, what is the web address? It's just
so it's rdhub.co.uk.
rdhub.co.uk.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you all for joining. And I'm pleased to give you back 10 minutes. And I look forward to well, hopefully not speaking to you too much over the next week, but helping with any problems.
Right. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much indeed.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Georgia.